And welcome to High Point University Hockey Radio here on the YouTube channel for High Point Hockey. I'm Graham Tuck with Luke Lee, and we are live in Pelham, Alabama, as the D3 Panthers have taken to the road to kick off the 2024 portion of their season schedule against the Alabama D3 Frozen Tide. Luke, this is a huge series for the D3 Panthers, and their first semester did not go the way that they wanted it to, but they have a great chance to rebound against the number 11 team in D3. A win would be huge for confidence tonight.
And yeah, Ram, you're very much right. 4-11-1 up to this point. You are losers of 9 out of your last 10, so it's been a little bit of a rough run here, going up against a really good Alabama team, as you said, ranked in the top 15. So definitely want to see some push, want to see how these guys react. You have a lot of different new guys coming in and out. Want to see what works, what doesn't work, and just, get the best results possible.
Yeah, you mentioned it. So this is the lines for D3 tonight. The top line of Evangelista, Murphy, and Riggio reunited. Joey Riggio had a stint with the D2 team, but he's still the team leader in goals, even though he missed a good number of games for the D3 team. He's got 7 goals with D3. That second line, Clark, Gorski, and Pearl. Third line of Ian Brown, Nick Fallon, and Alex Brown. Nick Fallon, one of 3 new additions to the D3 team for this semester. It'll be Nick Fallon, his brother Andrew Fallon, who was a late addition to the lineup over defenseman Mario Martin, and Cole Ringstad. Those 3 are going to be joining the team for this semester, and they're making their debuts. And for Andrew Fallon, this is his debut in a High Point Hockey uniform. He didn't play any games for D2 in the fall, no games for D3, so this is his first game overall. And we're expecting big things out of this lineup tonight.
And very much so. You're bringing all these guys down in and out from the D2 team. You really want to see some success. You want to get a win going up against a team that early on you wouldn't know maybe with that original roster how well you would do. Now you bring some more competition down, and maybe you got a chance here to do some damage.
Well, and you have, on top of that, you have a healthy lineup from your skaters that you had all season. For the first time in what feels like forever, you've got a full 4 forward lines. You've got 13 forwards dressed tonight, a full 6 defensemen, and 2 goalies. So that has got to be huge. You've got a full bench. That's got to do a lot for your confidence. Now we take a look at Alabama, the number 11 D3 team. They are 8-2 on the year. Their only losses were to number 4, Tennessee, and they've played all but 2 of their games here in Alabama. Their only 2 road games, their 2 losses against number 4, Tennessee. So this is a very good squad. They started off their season with 2 wins in the first games in program history for the University of Alabama Birmingham, the Blazers, who lost their football team, then brought it back a couple years ago. They're bringing hockey back to Birmingham, but earlier in September, their program got off to a really rough start. Losses of 27-3 and 29-0 at the hands of the Alabama Frozen Tide. And you see a lot of inflated point totals for this Frozen Tide team. That series is where a lot of it is coming from. One guy in particular, John Owen, number 27 for the Frozen Tide, 14 of his 20 points on the season came in that one weekend series against UAB.
And when you're going up against teams that are just getting started, just like UAB, for example, you're going to have a little bit of a talent discrepancy. And sometimes you'll get some inflated numbers. And so now if you're Alabama, you're going up against a team that's played some games, have played a good amount of games, have gone against some good teams. So now you want to see how your squad's going to do against them.
And another interesting thing to note, too, is that in that series, the University of Alabama Birmingham, the Blazers, they only had 5 skaters. So those 5 skaters were on the ice for the entire game. And that fatigue obviously set in.
And so now you have an established team in High Point with a full bench coming in here with some new additions. So this is a really big opportunity for both teams to really build on some confidence and going into that new semester.
Absolutely. Zach Podolsky is going to get the start in net for the Panthers this evening from High Point. Podolsky with a 3-6 record on the season. And he's looking for win number 4. Cole Ringstad just came up and gave us taps on the glass. You can tell those guys are excited to be playing hockey again. They haven't played since October 1st against ECU with D2. So warm-ups are finished here at the Pelham Civic Center. It was very interesting. We pulled in to the Civic Center, and typically you think, Oh, this is probably the main attraction. There were 2 games that preceded this. Not only did Alabama's D1 AAU team have a game tonight, but the Birmingham Bulls also play in this same center, the Peloton Civic Center. They play on the main rink, and that's where we'll be tomorrow. So I'm pretty excited for that one. It'll be the second SPHL rink that I've called games in, so that'll be a pretty cool environment. But we're about ready to go for this first period here, and we'll see who the starting lineups are. But like I said, this is a really big chance for High Point to bounce back. You had a disappointing first semester, but you've got the healthy guys. You had a full week of practice. You've got some reinforcements. You've got your leading scorer back. You got to feel good going into this one.
You got a whole lot of momentum going into this one, especially just with a fully renewed squad, and you have a really unique opportunity to just turn a new page. And it was a rough first semester, I get it, but when you got a bunch of young guys here, young developing guys, I mean, hey, things can change very, very quickly. It takes one big game to kind of put everything together. Maybe they're hoping this one is it.
So we're taking a brief break, and we will be back with the opening puck drop for the first period after this. And we're ready to go for opening puck drop here. The starting lineup for the Panthers, it's going to be that top forward line. It'll be Joey Riggio, Grady Murphy, and Nate Evangelista, 3 freshmen. And an all-freshman, all 6, as Cole Ringstad and Drew Schliebner are the 2 defensemen with Podolski in net. And things start off in the Panthers' defensive zone. Ringstad behind the net to play it. Gets it to Riggio on the far wall, and he chips it out of the zone. Frozen Tide possessed momentarily, but Murphy brings it in, a quick first shot, and he scores! The first shot of the game goes in, and Grady Murphy gives the Panthers an early lead just 25 seconds in.
And we were talking about some of these new additions coming in, but hey, it's a guy who's been here, and Grady Murphy coming up, making a big play across the ice, getting open, and then making some moves, taking a shot, and that's exactly what you like to see here. This is a 7-hour, 8-hour car ride, or bus ride up here, excuse me, so the boys are absolutely amped here late at night trying to get a W, and that is a great start to get some high-octane energy out here.
A great first shift for the freshman, and Grady Murphy, who's been on a hot streak lately, goal-scoring-wise, he gets one to put the Panthers and give them an early lead. The Frozen Tide get right back, and Podolski a quick first save off the shot by Galota. He's one of the leading scorers for Alabama. Clark takes it across the red line, sends it in for the Panthers. The Frozen Tide start the breakout. Vitka and Fedoriv, the 2 defensemen on the ice right now. Oh, between the legs move, centering pass, and a big save for Podolski on the tip chance there for Kellen McGarry, the leading scorer for this team. He's got 13 goals, 27 points, leads the team in that regard. Gorski cross-ice pass to Clark, who sends it on net from the red line and gets off for a change. Nick Fallon out for his first shift with the D3 squad. Alex Brown and Ian Brown, his wingers.
And just seeing the new guys come in here, getting a whole new fresh squad of legs out there, I mean, that's something that you haven't been able to have for most of this season, so that's got to be really refreshing for this High Point bench.
Cole Ringstad makes a good play. Excuse me, that's Tanner Ripley, 87, not 97. Makes a good play in the defensive zone. Sent the puck back the other way, but quickly Alabama the other way. Brendan Votts in the zone, and a great poke check by Ripley. His D partner, Davis Turner.
That was a really good job right there to split 2 offensive players and really just go down on a knee, put his stick out, and make a play.
That puck goes out of play. Votts and Rocco McCullen were doing work on the near side in the offensive zone. So the faceoff will come. Excuse me, no, I stand corrected. That the net went off of its pegs. No puck out of play. 18:07 left in the first. High Point out to an early lead courtesy of Grady Murphy, scoring his 6th goal of the season. Turner a hit in the defensive zone onto Geiselhart. Ripley to Brown out of the zone. Alex Brown lost it through the legs of Tanner Ripley on the zone re-entry. Ripley gets it back from Turner. Those 2 play catch behind Podolski's net. Nearly turned over. McCullen in hard on the forecheck. Ian Brown backhands it, trying to spring Nick Fallon. Loose puck at center ice, collected by Fallon. He'll take it in. Good stick check, sends it back the other way. Through the neutral zone, Ripley there to collect in the D zone. Ripley on the backhand finds Ringstad. He'll send it around, caught up in the equipment of Ripley. And Brown is leveled into the boards. A huge hit put onto Ian Brown, but he got it free to Pyatt, who sends it wide of the net.
And already this game is getting chippy, it's getting physical. You've seen some guys getting up in the glass, and Ian Brown just got laid out on that play.
That was a brutal hit right into the glass, a clean one at that, but hopefully Brown's okay. Fourth line out onto the ice now. It's Marchiota, Sanderson, and Pyatt. Schliebner to Sanderson. One of the alternate captains ahead to Pyatt. He's into the zone, a shot and a save. Rebound came back to Pyatt, and he nearly poked it home. A shaky start for Tyler Terranova. Out of his crease to play it. An aggressive play there by Podolski. Schliebner on the near wall, putting in work, carried to the net. Podolski seals the post. Galota up to the blue line. Frozen Tide with possession. Big shot blocked there by Marchiota, and he gets it out of the zone. Marchiota tangled up. He'll hit the ice. Schliebner to Ringstad. He'll send a pass ahead. Arm is up for icing. That's an odd icing as the goalie came out of his crease to play it, and it looked like Pyatt had beaten the race to the puck, but no complaints from the High Point bench, so it'll be icing, and this unit had been out for a while, and they'll have to stay out there. 1-0 High Point still. Grady Murphy, an unassisted goal.
And it's been a really nice start here for High Point for a team that's really struggled to score goals, especially recently. To take as many shots as they have early on, it's been really nice to see that, because even if you aren't going to get a lot of goals, the more shots you take, the more goals you're going to make. It's just how math works. That was
good work there. And they did overturn the icing. So Cam Sanderson had the puck at center ice, won the faceoff, got it deep. Forked out of the zone by the Frozen Tide. Schliebner on the back check. Offers with the stick. Votz carries it in. Save Podolski, and Schliebner cleans up the rebound. Shot, they score! A quick turnover in the D zone on the rebound. And it's put home by Rocco McCullen, his 5th goal of the year. And it's 1-1.
And that's just not a situation you want to get into if you're High Point right there. For an Alabama team, outside of 3 games, they've scored more than 5 goals in every single game. That is extremely impressive. So they have shooters, they have guys who are going to let it rip. So to give them opportunities like that is not what you want to do, because they're eventually going to land those rips.
So we're all tied up at 1. Both sides have scored, and we're not even 4 minutes into the game. And this puck into the Alabama bench and out of play. Evangelista had his stick canceled out in the neutral zone.
And I mean, a neutral zone faceoff's a lot better than a defensive zone faceoff.
For sure, if you're Alabama, 100%. Murphy set to take the faceoff at center ice. He wins it backwards, collects it himself, sends it towards the attacking end. Riggio picks it up at center ice, had his stick canceled. Fortunato. Riggio spirals to the ice, and the Frozen Tide get it in. Fedorov in the corner, gets it to Vitka, his partner. Those two will play catch with it. Fedorov gets it back, starts the breakout. Evangelista looking for Riggio, couldn't find him. No icing, though, as it's into the zone. Reed Rudick back to play it. The defenseman with 7 goals in 10 games for the Frozen Tide.
And to have 7 goals in 10 games, as a defenseman, I mean, that's very nice to have.
It shows the goal scoring that this Alabama team has been able to do.
Just shows the versatility.
Yep. Vitka and Evangelista played catch with it for a moment. Murphy with it now in the neutral zone across the red. Fighting off the back check of Galota. Murphy, another shot, save made by Terranova. Murphy on that far side, same side that he just scored from, right at the face-off circles.
Early on, trying to get aggressive here, trying to set some shots up, and that's all you can really ask for.
Ripley chipped it past Gorski, got it back to himself. A turnover here. Man alone in the slot. Good D by Fedorov to seal him off. Chance for McGarry, and a save by Podolski on the near post. Galota to the near side, looking for an angle. Doesn't have one, centers it, and it's through sticks and out of the zone. Rudick out to chase. Turnover, Clark at the red line. Tried to find Gorski. Instead, it'll be Ripley in the D zone with it. To Turner, and now slowly the Panthers attempting to break out. Turner Ahead to Gorski, was looking for Pearl. It said it's intercepted. Turner a hit at the red line. Pearl sticks it ahead to him. Possession still fought for, and the Frozen Tide are in cleanly. Clark has to get back. Ripley, a good play behind the goal line to seal off the angle for Eiselhart. There's a one-timer for Votz. Backhand chance. St. Podolsky, the rebound went wide. 3 shots on that sequence there. Podolsky stopped 2 of them. 1 didn't hit the net.
With all the shots that Alabama has put up so far, Podolsky has started out really well, even though he did give up that goal. Outside of that 1 goal, he's done really well to start out this ice game.
7 shots already through just over 6 minutes of game time here. For Alabama, that is. Turner with a turnover in the D zone, taken out in front, and Podolsky made the save there. There's another save for Podolsky, and the net is off of its post again. The official has not noticed yet, but the post is not sealed on the far side. Podolsky just he put the net back in place himself, and play continues. Alabama still with possession in the attacking zone. Now Ringstad finds Turner. He had it lost in his skates. Pass Fortunato. Ian Brown trying to center things up for Will Clark. And his attempt to spring Alex Brown unsuccessful. But Brown throws a hit in the neutral zone, and Ian Brown in hard on the forecheck.
These teams really going at it here early on.
Turner trying to get it out. He needs a change. He's been on the ice for a while. Pass ahead, intercepted by Ringstad in the D zone, Alex Brown tried to turn it over to the blue line. Instead, it's a shot wide of the mark. Balthazar for the Frozen Tide takes it behind the net. Has Schliebner on him. Centering pass sent wide. Podolsky doesn't have his goal stick, and the net is off of its post again.
And you can see Alabama really likes going behind the goal, trying to sneak up on Podolsky there, and he's done a really good job of countering that so far.
Ringstad throws a hit onto Balthazar. A slap shot from Bowman goes over the crossbar. Ringstad's trying to get the stick back to Podolsky, and the Panthers are into the attacking zone. Alex Brown shoved off the puck. Here's Fallon all alone, and a save made by Terranova. Fallon had a breakaway on the backhand, but couldn't finish.
Scored on the breakaway earlier, trying to score on there again, and it doesn't quite work out.
Pyatt threw a hit onto Balthazar in the neutral zone, but it wasn't enough to prevent an icing. Couple extra seconds tick off the clock, but it is 11:51 left in the first period, still 1-1. High Point scored 25 seconds into the game. Grady Murphy, and then evening things up, Rocco McCullen, the junior from Mullica Hill, New Jersey, getting his 5th goal of the year. So Grady Murphy, he has been really hot lately for the Panthers. He scored in both games against Eastern Kentucky University. And he's been really coming on strong after he had an injury earlier in the season.
7 points in 11 games. I mean, he's been consistent throughout the year when he's been on the ice.
Marchiota, a shot that goes over the crossbar off the glass. I don't think Terranova saw that one. He's had trouble seeing the puck so far, it seems to me.
Yeah, maybe that could be playing a little bit. Also the fact that when High Point is shooting, they're coming in fast on those fast breaks with a lot of bodies around them. So that could potentially play a part.
Fedorov with a nonchalant shot block onto Plamondon. Finishes a hip check into the boards. Now on the far side, Vitka and Sanderson trying to dig it out. Plamondon is in there as well for the Frozen Tide. Now here's a chance down low, sent out to the blue line, sending up a shot, and it's blocked by Marchiota. That's his second big block. Tried to ice it, but couldn't. Instead, he gets it to Sanderson. He'll drop it back to Fedorov, and the Panthers reset. Pyatt on the far wall, right at the red line. Lost the pass, but sends it in. He'll get off to complete the change. Top line out there, Evangelista, Murphy, and Riggio now. And there's period nearly halfway gone.
And there's been space here to kind of move around and gets up and going, but they've struggled to connect here consistently on some of these longer passes.
Votz sends a centering pass from the circles, and the shot goes off the inboards. McCullen on the far wall tried to send it to Votz, instead intercepted by Ringstad, and he gets out. To the red line, no further where it's intercepted. Murphy bats it down. Turner in the D zone looking to break out. Sends it up to Ringstad. Rolled on him, but he'll get it back. Ringstad carries it into the zone. Wearing 97 in black. He'll send it to the slot for Evangelista. He couldn't settle a rolling puck. He had a chance for a one-timer in the slot. Alabama the other way. There's a saucer pass broken up well by Murphy on the back check. Sent out to the slot, intercepted by Ripley. Turner with a chance here. He'll get it to Riggio at the red line, and he'll carry it in. Riggio on the forehand, dangling to the slot, and it's knocked to the corner. Picked back up by Evangelista. Back down for Riggio. Attempt to center it for Turner in the low slot, and potential for a breakaway here. Instead, Ripley getting back on the back check. Wins the race well, had his stick tied up though. Loose puck collected by Fortunato. Good pass break up there by Ripley. There's a chance, and a shot blocked just barely by Evangelista. Another save there for Podolsky on a shot from the blue line. Taken behind the net there by Morgan Brooks. And Murphy fights off a hit, gets it out of the zone. Evangelista ahead to Riggio, trying to fight off a check, and a great angle there by Aiden Canine to seal off the chance for the Panther forward. Back and forth we go here in Pelham. At the blue line, a dodge hit there from Ringstad. Schliebner sends it to the corner. He'll fire it out. A weird bounce off the boards, and it springs Gorski. He can't settle the rolling puck, though. Alabama gets there first. Clark throws a hit at center ice. Sticks cancel, and the puck goes towards the attacking end for High Point. No icing. Cole Ringstad back to chase it. Off the body of Clark, Ringstad gets it back off the boards to himself. Huge hit there by Ringstad, and Schliebner throws one as well. Puck in the defensive end for High Point. Ringstad. Schliebner draws a penalty. Delayed call here against the Frozen Tide, our first penalty of the game. Podolsky doesn't know he's got to get to the bench. There's a shot. It's over the mark, and Alabama will touch up here. But Podolsky didn't see the arm up for the extra attacker. Schliebner took a hand to the face. He gets hauled down. It's holding. And I believe it's going to be McGarry going to the box. 2 minutes for holding at 8:13 left in the first period.
And it's a really big opportunity here for High Point. Games tied at 1 each. Both of these teams have been really, really even so far. There's been a lot of play in the neutral zone because it feels like whenever it does get down to one side's D zone, it just gets moved back. Both of these teams are all over each other. So now if you're High Point, you're a man up. So this is a huge opportunity for 2 minutes to try to get some points on the board.
Big 2 minutes. So the power play unit is Fallon, Fedoriv, Riggio, Gorski, and Ringstad. Nick Fallon, that is. Still waiting for Andrew Fallon's first shift. We'll let you know when that comes. The debut. He is in the lineup, but not on the ice yet. Fedoriv to Ringstad, and now Gorski at the defensive blue line looking for options. Makes Votz miss and carries it into the zone. High Point chip and chase, trying to set up the power play. Ringstad in the corner, takes it here. Ringstad to Fedoriv at the blue line. Fedoriv a shot blockered away by Terranova. High Point with possession still on the rebound. Fedoriv to his D partner Ringstad. A slap shot through traffic, and it finds the inboards instead of Twine. Fedoriv gets it back before it leaves the zone. Fedoriv down to Gorski. Tried to send it to Ringstad, but the puck leaves the zone. 1:10 left on the power play. Fedoriv to Ringstad, who carries in. Fanned on the chip attempt, though, and now a full clear for the penalty killers in Alabama's cream uniforms. High Point in black, purple, and white. Alabama cream, crimson, and white.
That's a really good job right there by the Ice Tide to just try and kill some time, get some fresh legs here on the ice.
Fallon, a move to the slot, he sent it wide, rebound, and the net off its post. Terranova makes the save on Fallon. Riggio had a chance to poke it home, but the whistle blew the play dead.
Just a good job right there by High Point to try to push that puck down. Get a little bit closer, gets up and going, get some momentum, get some good feeling.
A lot of back and forth here in the first period. We mentioned it on the way down here, Luke. This felt like one that High Point had a chance to go and steal from the number 11 team in the country. They're hanging right with them in the first period.
And they've shown they've got it here. They've got guys who can go out there and play. But now you just got to see how long can you continue to take advantage of some of the mistakes that Alabama's made.
Clark, a shot from a sharp angle. Still in the power play here for the next 30 seconds. Turner fanning on a shot. It's a shorthanded breakaway. Here comes Brooks. Not a lot of speed. Podolsky makes the save. It beat him 5-hole, but he got a piece of it, and it went just wide.
Oh, and Podolsky has been really, really good today here in this first period outside of the one goal. But that was really just a better offensive play than defensive play.
Murphy with it here, a wraparound shot. Evangelista gets the rebound. Turner walking in. He fans on a shot. Second chance. Rebound to Murphy. Backhands it wide. There was a lot of room there. Turner trying to send it back to Murphy. We're back to 5-on-5. Murphy turns a corner into the corner, sends it around the boards. Pyatt on the near side. He throws a hit, a reverse hit that is. Vitka back to Pyatt. Vitka, a shot from the blue line. Goes wide of the mark. Rebound is there for Murphy. Settles it down, takes another shot. Terranova, a save. It hit the post. Vitka trying to find Clark. Vitka pinching in, cannot keep. 5:42 left in the first period, still tied at 1. High Point with a good power play, a lot of chances. They do give up the shorthanded breakaway, but no goals either side. Turner, a great saucer pass on the breakout. Pyatt gets it to Murphy. His pass and a tap in for Marchiota. He couldn't get it home. Terranova down and out. Sends it to Schliebner. His shot into Terranova's chest, and he covers. High Point is buzzing here in the attacking zone.
And they've really gotten hot recently with taking these shots. Early on, they got a really, they had a nice goal and they got a few shots in there. But for a little bit, especially in the middle part of this period, they weren't really getting much going. They were getting stifled. There was a lot of neutral zone play. Now they're getting back to where they want to be in their O zone, taking shots.
Sanderson wins the draw. He'll get it here. His shot wide of the mark. Schliebner on the backhand, tried to send it to the corner, but the puck floated on him a little bit. Alabama trying to get out. This is icing against the Frozen Tide as McCullen cannot beat Ringstad in the race for the puck.
It's another opportunity for High Point to start in their own offensive zone. Great job. They've done a really good job of just controlling the puck here over the last couple of minutes. And, I mean, you just love to have control of the flow of the game, and that's really what they have right now, and they haven't had that for a lot of the games.
Both teams scored in the first 4 minutes of the game, and for the last 11, neither team has scored. 5 minutes even left in the first period.
Not without a lot of shooting, though.
Oh, absolutely. The goalies have been fantastic here early. Here's a chance for McGarry, the leading scorer. McGarry all the way in. He sends a shot and a save by Podolsky. Diving, cannot cover, keeps it moving to Marchiota, who clears. This one is rolling, and it's on goal for Terranova. He keeps it moving as well. Great save by Podolsky on the breakaway for Kellen McGarry, who charged in on the backhand. Good stick there by Pyatt. Hard on the forecheck. Pearl moves it to Ringstad, and Schliebner skates up with it now. Schliebner fires it in. High Point completes a change. Pearl throwing a hit in the attacking zone. Ringstad at the defensive blue line, trying to move it back in. Ringstad can't drag to the backhand. Throws a hit there right in front of the Alabama bench. Gets some stick taps for that one. Andrew Fallon picks it up in the defensive slot and clears the danger zone. First shift here for Andrew Fallon in a High Point uniform as Cole Ringstad throws a big hit in the D zone. Fallon fights off a hit, keeps it moving. Fallon in the D zone trying to move the puck, sends it to Schliebner. Off the wall in the neutral zone, Alabama brings it right back in. Ringstad, the lone man back, a shot fanned on, no shot on goal there.
And High Point defensively so far has done a really good job of swarming to the puck. It always feels like whenever somebody for the Ice Tide has the puck, there's about 3 or 4 different black jerseys going to surround him within a second or two.
Schliebner's gassed. He's been out there for a long shift. Fortunato up to the blue line. Alabama still with possession here. Ringstad fights off a hit. And Andrew Fallon looking to bring it up. He'll allow Schliebner and Ringstad to change. They have been out there for a very long time. Pearl with a big hit there, and Murphy dodges one. Puck in the High Point attacking in briefly, and now Brooks will bring it out. Brooks gets by Vitka. He'll walk in on the forehand, and a save by Podolsky. Looked like that shot was going wide anyway, but Podolsky saved it regardless. Murphy tried to go off the boards and out. Instead, it's brought back in. Fortunato, he'll send a pass. Geiselhart, stick save Podolsky. Geiselhart sends it to Voss. His shot into the glove of Podolsky, and he'll hold.
Just another really great defensive series for High Point there. They spent a lot of time there in their D zone, so to be able to constantly just put up a brick wall for this Ice Tide offense, I mean, you can't feel much better than that.
Nick Fallon and the Browns, Ian and Alex, the forwards here. Fedorov and Vitka, the defenseman. That shot through traffic, deflected wide. Vitka into the far corner, backhands it behind the net. 2:30 left to go, first period. Fedorov throws a big hit onto Geiselhart. York tried to center it, picked up by Geiselhart behind the net. He'll reverse course, sends it out in front, and Fedorov a good pass break up there. York sends it to the blue line, a shot blocked by Ian Brown, and Fallon moves away. Up to Ian Brown with speed into the zone. Brown, a shot, save Terranova, and he covers. Brown, one of the fastest guys on either High Point team, and he made a chance out of that play, seemingly out of nowhere, got up the ice in an instant.
And even though that play didn't end up resulting in a goal, that's the kind of play you like to see because you're able to move the puck up and then get it to your guy in space. Obviously one of the fastest guys in the team, so really just good design right there by High Point.
If High Point can produce on the counterattack, that adds a whole different dimension to their game.
You said it.
Face-off in the O-zone, High Point can't win it. Vitka at the red line.
And in a close game like this, you want to look for any sort of edge you can get.
Absolutely. Alabama trying to break out. Connor Plamondon brings it up. He springs it to McGarry. Series of moves. McGarry centering pass. One-timer. They score. What a play. Kellen McGarry. He centers it for Reese Galota, who fires it past Podolsky, and it's 2-1. Frozen Tide.
Frozen Tide have taken a lot of shots, 21 total here in this first period. High Point has 17. A lot of shots for both of these teams, and eventually you're going to land a few. That was a really good job by the Ice Tide to be able to move the puck up, just what High Point did, but he was able to get that pass behind him and then obviously take the shot and get it in there, but just really good offensive play. Can't really ask much more if you're High Point. Great hustle.
There's not much you could have done there whatsoever. McGarry looked like Connor McDavid bringing it up the ice and then just finds a wide open teammate in the goal scorer Galota, his 15th goal of the season.
I mean, those happen, especially against a team like this.
And so High Point, after a period that they felt pretty good about, they find themselves down by 1 with 1:35 left to go in the first. Here's a turnover. Clark a chance, his shot blocked into the equipment of the defenseman Henry Mayer. Here comes Mayer on the counterattack, makes a move, Podolsky the save. Great back check by Tanner Ripley to prevent Mayer from going to the forehand, and Podolsky able to make a pad save there.
And Podolsky, I mean, he's a big guy. He's got a big frame. So when you got a guy coming down and crashing down onto you, trying to take one of those fast shots, if you can use that big frame to kind of get in his way and dictate that, I mean, that's exactly what Podolsky does. And it really more or less saved the goal.
Podolsky with now 20 saves in the first period.
That is absolutely insane.
It just shows the offense that we've been seeing from Alabama, really both sides here in this first period. The goalies have looked good. Here's a chance sent just wide. Podolsky had a little bit of room on that far post, but Turner got the rebound, sent it to Pearl, who chips it out. Alabama repossesses in their D zone. Galota sends it in, but Ripley is there to play it safely for the Panthers. Clark turns it over in the D zone momentarily, got it right back though. Clark fights off Plamondon. Loose puck comes free to McGarry, and a save Podolsky. Rebound came loose just a little bit, but Plamondon couldn't get to it before Podolsky covered it up.
And High Point got really lucky there because they had that puck, they lose it, and then the Ice Tide pick it up of a 1v1 with the goalie. Luckily, man got in the way, and Podolsky was able to save it, but that could have gone really bad here.
It could have.
Now you just want to get out of the period.
Yep, things have taken a turn here in Pelham. 2-1 Alabama after High Point jumped out to an early 1-0 lead, only 25 seconds into the game. It's been a pretty even period, but the last couple of minutes or so, it's been Alabama's.
Even though you still have to feel pretty well if you're High Point going into this game, considering how recent results have gone. Going up against a really good team, I mean, you can't ask for much more. They're playing hard, and Alabama just had some good plays.
40 seconds left in the period. There's a shot from the blue line that goes wide. Plamondon makes the play for the Ice Tide. Frozen Tide, excuse me. McGarry on the far wall, trying to drag around Sanderson. Sends it to his teammate Galota. Those two have already connected once, but his shot off the crossbar and out of play. High Point has got to get out of the D zone here in the last 22 seconds of the period.
And a good thing right there, they were able to stop the clock, and the subs were able to come in because the guys are gassed, and that's just not a good recipe. It's not a recipe for success. Now you have a huge opportunity with some fresh legs to try to get it back up on offense.
They tip in and they score. Right off the face-off, McGarry deflects it in with 18.6 left in the first, and it's 3-1 Alabama. So 2 goals in the final 2 minutes of the first period have taken a period that High Point felt very, very good about, and suddenly they're down 2.
And that's just what happens when you play a lot of defense in your own zone, and you bring in a new shift. Hopefully that works, but it doesn't always. And right there, I mean, they weren't even in bad position. It was a really good shot. Just got lucky on the bounce in.
Just a tip in right in front. Can't really do anything about it. Just tired guys. All that starts with winning the face-off, and that's something that High Point hasn't been able to do here as the periods come to a conclusion. There's a good pass break up there from Vitka as McGarry was trying to set up another goal. Vitka carries in with 5 seconds left, and they're offside. So a neutral zone draw with 3 seconds left.
And if you look at the score, you might think it's bad, and if you look at how they've kind of, how the last few minutes have gone, you would say this is a bad position. But honestly, that just shows you it's only a couple plays away from being a really, really competitive game. It's been a competitive game for most of this first period. And, I mean, it just shows you, hey, you get lucky a couple times and you get back up on top.
Well, that's really interesting. The officials just waved the end of the period. The clock stopped with 3 seconds left on that offside, but they'll call it the end of the first period. So High Point scores 25 seconds in, and then they allow 3 unanswered by the Frozen Tide, and it's 3-1 Alabama heading to the first break. We'll be back after this. And we are back for the second period of action here in Pelham, Alabama at the Pelham Civic Center. It's the Alabama Frozen Tide taking on the High Point University Panthers in a D3 AAU hockey matchup. I'm Graham Tuck with Luke Lee. And Luke, the score reads 3-1, but the tail of the tape shows that this period was a whole lot closer than that in the first period.
Oh, 100%. And even the shots are a little bit unbalanced, but for the most part, this is a really close first period. High Point obviously jumped out within 30 seconds to get that first goal. Then Alabama rolled through and answered. But the last two came within the last 2 or 3 minutes of the period, and they were really just good offensive plays. And High Point being stuck in bad positions. They were stuck for multiple minutes in their defensive zone, gave a couple goals there. But overall, I would say it's a very positive first period for High Point. It just shows that you're really a play or two away from getting back into this one. This game's been very, very back and forth, so I wouldn't be too worried if I was High Point.
You got to try to start quick as you did in the first period. 2 goals in the last minute and 47 seconds of the first period broke a 1-1 tie and gave the Frozen Tide, a 2-goal lead. And we're underway here in the second period. The music hasn't stopped, though. They got to get somebody on that. Play is continuing. They finally stopped the music, and it's iced by the Panthers. Just a couple of seconds in, and now the clock is continuing to run. They let a couple more seconds tick off there. Same unit that started the first period for the Panthers is back out to start the second. It'll be Evangelista. I was corrected on that one in the intermission. Murphy and Riggio out there with Schliebner and Ringstad, with Podolski still in between the pipes. He made a plethora of saves in that first period, 23 to be exact. Riggio tried to drag it into the zone. Galota broke it up. He's got it as his defensive blue line now. Riggio tried to break up a pass. Instead, here comes McGarry. He'll fire a shot, and it is off the mark. I believe it went out of play. It's on the opposite end of the ice from us this period, so the Panthers attacking end right in front of our broadcasters table, and now their defensive end all the way on the other side of the ice, so it's a bit hard to tell what's going on at times, but we're going to do our very best.
Yeah, and High Point's to get some substitutions in here. Some fresh legs.
Full platoon swap, so it will be Clark who's in to take the draw against McGarry. McGarry wins it back. Plamondon a shot over the crossbar. Slapped back towards the goal line, and it's sticked into the netting and out of play by Fedorov.
This is not the position you want to get into if you're High Point. You showed it at the end of the first period. You got stuck in your defensive zone, and as time went on, even with all the great saves by Podolski and the strong defense, eventually it will break. Guys will get tired, and they will eventually land those shots. You got to get out of there and try to move that puck up.
Just keep peppering shots onto Tyler Terranova. That's got to be the game plan.
100%.
There's a shot block there by Clark. The Frozen Tide keep the zone, though, in the corner. Taken out here by Plamondon. Connor Plamondon up to the blue line for John Owen. His shot saved by Podolski. Sent out of the zone here by Gorski. Gorski drags it to the red line, across into the attacking zone as he darts from the near side to the far. Gorski takes it all the way to the corner before he's depossessed by Kellen McGarry. And McGarry tried to feed Galota, slapped right back in by Fedorov, but an interception allows the Frozen Tide to clear. Clark bats it down at the red line. Fedorov ahead to Gorski. Sends it back to Clark. He'll bring it in. Slap shot saved by Terranova from the blue line. Bouncing puck settled by Fedorov, and he slaps it into the near side corner as the Panthers begin the forecheck. Rudick. Odd bounce there. Clark sends it towards Ian Brown, who was in on the forecheck, but couldn't get a shot off there. Fallon charges in. Rudick takes it to the red line across the blue and in onside. Rudick a shot over the crossbar. Alex Brown giving chase on his numerical counterpart, Henry Mayer. Ryan Fortunato sends it to the near side for Votts. Brown with a good stick breaks up that pass momentarily. Brown giving chase on the far side now. Fedorov kicks it ahead to Fallon. Brown sends it back to Fallon. Fallon, a loose puck deep, got it back to himself. Brown on the near side, on the wall, sends it to Fallon in the corner right in front of us. Nick Fallon has Ripley, skates past him, and his pass intercepted. Fallon gets back on the back check, but his pass allows the Crimson Tide to skate out. Fallon with a good play on the back check. Pins the puck up to the wall and allows Fedorov to recontrol. Ripley off the skate of Brown, and not on goal, but Brown, wow, I thought he had won the race, but icing blown, and Nick Fallon with the stick on his helmet. That forward unit has been out for a long time, so that would have been a crucial icing to beat out.
And we talked about it earlier a little bit. As you can see, the puck bounced off a man's skate a little bit, trying to pass it over there, and that's what led to the puck going down and behind the net. And that's just one of those things where you really need to clean that up, because that could have been a big play.
There's a shot off the face-off in the attacking zone for the Frozen Tide. Wide of Podolski's cage, sent behind the net. Brooks takes it to the corner, caught up in the skates of one of the officials. Got a three-man crew here, 2 officials, 1 linesman. That shot off the post. Podolski was beaten. Got to clear the zone here if you're High Point. The Panthers in their defensive end. Ripley off the wall to Alex Brown. He'll try to send it out. Brown is rocked, and a penalty coming here, and the Frozen Tide touch up. He'll be charging against the Frozen Tide, and a power play coming up for the Panthers.
And that's exactly what the doctor ordered here. You've been getting hit pretty hard here. There's been a lot of hits just like that. They finally called here. But you're down by 2 goals. You haven't had a whole lot of offensive time here in this second period. So now you're going to get a chance. You're obviously up a man. You get 2 minutes. Bama did a good job with the penalty kill last time, but can you recreate that? And obviously, if you're High Point, you want to change up what you did last time. You got a lot of shots in there, but no goals, and that's obviously the most important part.
Keep the good, replace the bad, and hopefully you can come through on this power play to cut the lead in half. It'll be Ian Brown, Nick Fallon, Jonathan Gorski, Dorian Fedorov, and Cole Ringstad. Fallon can't win the faceoff, and a quick first clear for the Frozen Tide. Missed the number on that penalty. It is Ash Warner. High Point has struggled with finding themselves in the penalty box so far this season, so good to see that they have stayed off of the penalty sheet so far. A great move here by Cole Ringstad. He'll drag through and finally knocked off the puck. Big hit there by Gorski. Comes to the near wall for Fallon. He settles it at the blue line. Fallon over the stick of Fedorov to Gorski. Gorski at the blue line has options. Sends it to Fedorov. It's off his skate, but to the corner for Brown. Back to Fedorov. He keeps the zone. Fedorov at the top of the key. Ringstad, his slap shot way wide. Weird bounce, and Brown was going to be able to keep the zone. Tie up here, and it is cleared. This is a penalty coming up. I think they're going to get Ian Brown maybe. I believe it is against Ian Brown. No, it's against the Frozen Tide. Well, that is odd. So Ripley touched it first. They didn't blow it, but then when Gorski touches it, they blow it dead. Ian Brown, 2 minutes for holding, so he'll skate 4-on-4 for 1 minute and 3 seconds.
So now evening it up a little bit here with the Crimson Tide here with the penalty on Brown. And now 4-on-4. Want to see how you can match up here with the man down and just really see how it affects it.
15:39 left to go, period number 2. High Point down by 2. A lot of open ice here, 4-on-4.
This is the best opportunity to get those kind of fast breaks, those fast plays down the ice that High Point thrived on early on.
There's a big save for Podolski off the chance for Vots in the low slot. 9 seconds tick off the penalty to Brown. 53 more seconds of 4-on-4. Face-off win for the Panthers. Unable to clear, though, is Turner. Another great interception there at the blue line. Walking in, here's Owen. He takes a shot at save. Wrap-around chance. Sent out in front. And down and out, Podolski makes the save. Big save for Puddles there.
And wow, I mean, he has just been doing that all day so far. So
makes another save there. And another one. Rebound came out. This is sent down. Riggio wins the race to the puck, so Terranova's got to come out and play it. Turnover. Here's a chance. They score! A turnover off the bad pass by Terranova, and Grady Murphy has his second of the game.
And it shows you right there, just like with Alabama, you are one play away from getting back into it. There's been a lot of unlucky and lucky plays here for both teams, and that was just one of those lucky ones for High Point. Alabama got Terranova coming out of the goal to try and get the puck up, and unfortunately just a miscue right there for them. Grady Murphy comes in, takes a shot, and, well, Terranova couldn't get there fast enough. Really good shot there.
Another unassisted goal for Grady Murphy, and it is 3-2.
And he'll get bumps for that on the sideline.
for Grady Murphy, now his third multi-goal game of the season. His last one came in the last game of the semester against Eastern Kentucky. Still 4-on-4 here. There's a turnover in the low slot offensively. Ringstad brings it out. He'll get it to Pyatt. Pyatt trying to dangle through. He's tied up. Pyatt throws a hit onto McGarry. Here comes Galota. Power play now for the Frozen Tide. 3-2, Alabama on top. Schliebner clears the zone. So 2 consecutive multi-goal games for Murphy to finish that point. McGarry drops it back at the blue line. Kaneen on the power play.
It's really nice to have guys you can trust to go out there and put up points, especially when you've struggled as a team to score. So Grady Murphy having 2 goals here early on, that's really encouraging.
Henry Mayer fanning on a slap shot from the blue line. High Point attempting to clear. Kept in at the blue line by Kaneen. His shot blocked by Ringstad. Pyatt and Sanderson, the penalty killing forwards. Schliebner and Ringstad, the defensemen. Mayer sends it to Galota. His shot blocked in front, sticked out. Brown out of the box, and a successful penalty kill for the Panthers. Back to 5-on-5.
That's just really strong defense from the Panthers right there. Obviously, Padelski has been on fire for most of this one, and he had multiple crucial saves, but just the defense was strong.
Shot missed there by the Frozen Tide. Pyatt at the end of his shift cannot win the race to the puck. Brown on the forecheck against Tebby. Schliebner settles the puck in front of the net of Padelski, off the glass and out. No icing. I'm not sure why, but High Point gets lucky there. Tebby to Brooks, back to Tebby, turned over, Gorski. He'll turn back in the corner, has options, sends it just out of the reach of Will Clark. He keeps the zone though. Clark at the blue line, Clark with a wrist shot, and it's over the crossbar. Great look there for Clark.
And they're lucky they didn't get called for the icing right there, because that was what allowed them to get a new set of skaters out there on the ice for them. Obviously, you don't want a bunch of gas guys out there, so to be able to get that substitution while not being called for the icing is absolutely huge.
Chance for the Frozen Tide, turned over there. Davis Turner takes a big hit in the defensive zone, tied up with Morgan. Ripley sends a loose puck out in front. Gorski a shot and a big save. Terranova came out of his crease to play it again and nearly paid for the second time this period.
That's just a risky way to play goalie. It's a high risk, high reward kind of thing right there. This time it works out for him. Last time I ended up biting him a little bit, but good job by Terranova to get out of the goal and get back in there and just really be an aggressive goalie. I mean, that's not always the best way to do it, but if it works, it works.
A puck into the Alabama bench will result in a neutral zone draw. It'll be York against Murphy at center ice. Murphy on hat trick watch here in the second period.
It's been a while since we've seen a neutral zone faceoff.
That's true. It's been a lot of back and forth in the attacking zones. Into the attacking zone again. Murphy sends a shot. There's a save by Terranova. York in the D zone. Murphy throws a hit, but Riggio overskates the puck. Evangelista does as well. There's a slap shot from the red line. Padelski blockers it aside. Vitka on the backhand to Evangelista. This is a boarding penalty coming up, and Vitka gets back to his feet to prevent Alabama from touching up. And finally they will. So the High Point Panthers going to another power play as Vitka draws the penalty this time.
And with all these hits that Alabama, I mean, both teams have been laying them, but with all the hits Alabama has been laying on High Point and getting these penalties, it's really showed the mental fortitude of this Panthers team to not
Luke
only
Bowman, I hate to cut you off, Luke, but Luke Bowman, who took that boarding penalty, just broke his stick on the penalty box, gets tossed out of the game, and broke it again on the wall on his way to the locker room.
And that shows you this team is frustrated. High Point's doing a really good job. They're staying calm. They're staying composed, and Alabama does not like that. This is a team that's ranked. They're 8-2 versus a team with 4 wins who's lost 9 of their last 10. Facts are they probably thought they had this one. All right, so this has been a really close one back and forth, and I think it's getting in their heads a little bit.
So I think that should be a 2 and a 10 against Luke Bowman, who's now done for the game. We'll see if they add an extra 5. That would be a huge play for High Point if they can get a 5-minute major out of that somehow. Alabama only has 3 skaters on the ice right now. They're lined up for a 5-on-3 penalty kill. Now the fourth will join the fray.
And it's a huge opportunity for High Point. I've said it before, but this one is really crucial because you're up 2 guys here. You're only down by a goal. It's a 2-minute penalty, so take your shots.
11:31 left to go, period number 2. High Point has the only goal of this period. It's belonging to Grady Murphy. And the Panthers with their first power play unit out there. Brown, Gorski, Fallon, Ringstad, Federiv. Gorski can't win the draw. Rimmed around, kept in by Ringstad. Sends it down to Fallon. Fallon to the backhand, reverses course. Fallon on the far wall, chips it to Ringstad. At the joint of the blue line in the wall. Federiv to Brown, back to Federiv. At the high slot, sends it to Ringstad. One-timer! Looking for a tip from Gorski, but it's gloved by Terranova. Good first shift on the power play there.
And even with the save by Terranova right there, that was a really good job by the High Point offense. They were able to move the puck around, get it to different guys, get some different looks. Alabama's playing aggressive. They're trying to find the open look and the open shot.
High Point has really got to start winning these offensive zone face-offs on the power play. They've been unable to do so, and they lose another one there. Alabama clears.
And they've struggled just in general with the face-offs. So obviously something you want to improve. And losing these face-offs and allowing Alabama to push the puck back, even if it's just for a few seconds, I mean, that
it's valuable time, yeah.
It's valuable time, yes, you're right.
Gorski shouldered into the wall by McGarry, who clears it down again. 1:12 left on the power play. Podolski leaves it for Ringstad, who starts the breakout from behind the net and out of the circles. Ahead to Ian Brown with a lot of speed. Brown off the wall and in. Brown chases it to the corner. Behind the net. Brown settles the puck and sets up. Brown sends a shot, ill-advised. Owen intercepts, and it's fired down by Plamondon.
And not only does it kill time, but it also gives the defense a chance to regroup, and it makes the offense go down and get it. So it kills the offense. It kills some of the offensive players' energies, and once you're going after it, and the defenders, they're able to regroup.
The forwards have changed on the power play. The defensemen, Federiv and Ringstad, still out there. 30 seconds left. And a Murphy shot is gloved by Terranova. Murphy looking for the hat trick there. So the forwards now, it's just the top forward line. Evangelista, Murphy, and Riggio. Ripley will come out along with Vitka. So a shift from their typical pairs. Vitka normally with Federiv and Ripley normally with Turner. 31 seconds left on the power play. 10:02 left in the second.
And you could tell he's feeling himself.
High Point 0 for 2 on the power play so far. But yeah, Murphy feeling himself for sure. Vitka keeps the zone. Riggio off the wall to Vitka, who pinches in. Vitka a shot. Glove save Terranova. Rebound came free to Vitka. He's trying to push it in on the near post. And a save made by Terranova. He made a couple of saves there as Vitka was banging away at it.
Playing a little bit more reserved here compared to earlier, jumping in and out of the crease. But yeah, I mean, it's a good job there. High Point taking these shots. They only have 19 seconds left on this penalty. They want to take advantage of that. Sit back there and, protect the goal. It's a little bit different formula, but it's working.
Murphy cannot win the face-off. Unable to be cleared down this time by Mayer. He'll repossess behind his own goal line and send it out to the red line. 10 seconds left on the penalty. Vitka sends it in from the red, and he's dumped into the High Point bench. Riggio gets to the puck first, leaves it for Murphy. His shot right into the chest of Terranova. No rebound left for Riggio. And Riggio's going to get into it in the crease with Ash Warner. And those two banging away at it. High Point's got to be careful. They have done a great job of staying out of the box. Only one penalty taken so far. The Frozen Tide 0 for 1 on the power play. High Point now 0 for 3.
They've got to stay focused here. They got to understand. They got to know what they came here to do. They came here to walk in, get a win, and they're doing a really good job of getting themselves in a position to do that. But getting hot-headed and letting these kind of moments slip away from you can prevent you from doing that.
Sanderson can't win the ozone draw. Paya and Marchiota, his wingers. Warner ahead to Brooks. Off the wall. Gets it in behind the goal line to John Balthazar. Marchiota cannot clear. Off the glass into the corner for Ringstad. Over his stick. Schliebner ties it up behind the net. Past the stick of Marchiota. There's a shot off the post into the netting and out of play.
And believe it or not, that's been the first time they played offense in a while.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a minute.
High Point had shifted the momentum in their favor for sure.
And that's really good because obviously Alabama, they got a lot of shooters out there. They're a high-octane offense, so just keep them off the ice. Don't give them a chance. That's been the winning formula for the most part because even when you have played strong defense, they have the shooters that they can make these hard shots.
Face-off win in the D zone this time by Clark. Ringstad cannot clear it out. Excuse me, that was Schliebner. Clark lost it to Warner. Behind the net, Ringstad throws a hit. Schliebner cleans up the mess. Off the glass and out. Pearl's got to get on his horse to win the race. He cannot. It is icing.
And another opportunity for Alabama to try to extend their lead here. They haven't had a whole lot of offensive time here in this second period. They've had a little bit, but recently it has been High Point, as we just talked about. So High Point now got to step up here on defense and try to regain the momentum you had on offense.
And you're absolutely right. You touched on it earlier. Not a whole lot of play in the neutral zone. This game has been played in the attacking zones for either squad, as there's a stick save by Podolsky into the netting and out of play. There's not been a whole lot of back and forth in the neutral zone. It's been one team setting up in the attacking zone, and then once their time is up, the other team goes right back and sets up for a couple of minutes in their attacking zone.
And honestly, it's kind of ironic because in the first few minutes, there was a lot of time actually that was played in the neutral zone, and since then, almost none.
Face-off coming to the blocker side of Podolsky, won by the Frozen Tide, tipped in front. Podolsky sticks it aside. 8:30 left to go, period number 2, 1-goal game in Pelham. That shot deflected in front, and Podolsky another stick save. He's been phenomenal tonight.
I mean, no question about it. Podolsky's had a really big part in why this game is as close as it is because of how many shots Alabama's taken. I mean, with a lesser goalie, you're looking at potentially 5 or 6 goals, but this one, he's been almost locked down outside of a few plays that really, they were just great shots by the offense.
Already 35 saves.
That's insane.
Still 8 minutes left in the second period. Ripley trying to take it across the defensive blue line, turned it over. Galota, the top line out there. Galota trying to send a shot. It's blocked. McGarry picks it back up. His shot from a sharp angle. Held by Podolsky for a face-off. Anytime that top line is out there for the Frozen Tide, you hold your breath just a little bit. Galota, I believe that is Plamondon. Galota, Plamondon, and McGarry. Anytime those three are on the ice, they seem to have just a different energy about them.
I mean, that's what happens when you got your best players out there. You're going to walk with a little more swagger, walk with some confidence, feel a little better about yourself than when you got second, third, fourth guys in. Obviously, they have, they can do what they can do, but it's a lot different when you have your best guys out there.
That line has produced 2 of the 3 goals for the Frozen Tide tonight. Brown playing catch with Ian Brown, but a turnover there. Owen behind the net. Off the boards to Rudick. Turnover there. Fallon creates a takeaway. His shot wide of the mark. It might have been altered by a stick, and a lucky play there for the Panthers as Fortunato's clearance attempt goes into the netting, so an O-zone draw coming up for High Point.
But even without the shot, that was a really good play by Fallon right there to jump that puck. And obviously in a perfect world, he nails that shot. We got a 3-3 matchup right now, but
didn't have much of a shooting space, really.
Not really, but even then, it sets you up in a good position in your own zone.
Yep. But yet again, the Panthers cannot win in the face-off circle. They're able to keep possession, though, just barely. The forecheck strong, but Ian Brown overskates it, and now it's skated out by Owen. Across the red line, now the blue. He'll bring it all the way in past Fedorov to the corner. Alex Brown shoving him off his course. Cross-ice pass, one-timer, and a rocket of one at that. Goes over the crossbar. Ian Brown fanning on the clearance. Dragged in a shot. Podolsky never saw it, but the rebound comes free to the blue line. Rudick's shot blocked by Alex Brown, and he sends it out. This one sent free. Rudick doesn't have a stick, but yet kicks it to the corner. Ian Brown in there with Nick Fallon trying to dig it out. Wow, what a play on the back check by Reed Rudick, who didn't have a stick as it had broken, and yet still makes the play on the back check to prevent a breakaway for Ian Brown.
That's just a high-effort play. As
there was a chance for Alabama, and a pad save by Podolsky.
And anyone can respect that play. I mean, that's a high-effort play. When your stick's broken, I mean, you could have just gone to the sideline, get a sub. No, you run down there and you make a play. I mean, anyone can respect that.
Ian Brown was ahead of everyone, but another good play on the back check. This time, Aiden Kaneen gets it to Fallon. His shot blocked. Brown and Fallon have been on the ice for a while here. And now they'll finally get off to complete the line change. The Frozen Tide beat the icing, and Podolski jumps on a loose puck with 5:44 left in the second period.
So you're going to get some fresh legs out there. Going to play that D zone. Hopefully you can improve on these faceoffs because that's where they've really struggled. They've struggled to get these faceoffs. Alabama has had multiple possessions that have started because High Point hasn't been able to retain possession, and then they obviously get a fast break up the ice. And then now, all of a sudden, they're on offense.
And you gotta wonder, as another penalty coming up here to the Frozen Tide. I'll finish my point in a moment, but it's going to be Ash Warner going to the box. I believe it's 2 minutes for roughing. That's what it looked like from here. So a power play coming up for the Panthers.
And there's just been so many opportunities for High Point today to score on these power points, and these are very, very crucial. Now you're going to get an O-zone face-off where you've really struggled here just in face-offs in general. If you can win this one, though, and get something going, this is your chance.
That's the point I was beginning to make just before that penalty was taken, is imagine what kind of pressure High Point would have been able to build in this period if they were able to win these O-zone draws. No chance bigger here, and Murphy does win the draw to start the power play. Ripley to Riggio. Ripley gets it back and a stick save into the netting and out of play. So that's best case scenario for Terra Nova, as another face-off coming here for Grady Murphy forces him to win another one when High Point's clearly struggled in the circles.
Yeah, and I mean, if you are the Frozen Tide right now, I mean that is your strategy. Force them to take shots, let your goalie sit back, and hopefully they go up to the net and make them take more face-offs.
Well, Murphy just won another one, but Ripley turned it over, and it's cleared down by the penalty killers. Ripley, Ringstad, Evangelista, Riggio, and Murphy, the five on the power play.
And it's really shown tonight with all the new help and all just the fresh legs that they've been able to have, having a full bench. I mean, going up against a team like Alabama with the roster they had before, with the lack of depth that they had and all that, this could have been you see the clear improvement.
Yep, McGarry, a shorthanded chance there. And Podolski sticked it aside. 1:15 left on the power play, but you're absolutely right. I mean, we haven't had any scoring from the new players, but Grady Murphy with the 2 goals. The depth definitely a factor for the Panthers here tonight. Riggio, a 3-on-2. Riggio bringing it in. Riggio trying to drag through, throws a reverse hit, but he's knocked off the puck. Ripley keeps the blue line, backhands it to the corner. Odd bounce off the boards. Ripley charging in, keeps the play moving. Ripley backhander, rebound came free, sent out to the blue line, Ringstad a slap shot, and it was deflected, nearly fluttered in, but it goes over the crossbar. Riggio tied up in the corner, sent out to the blue line, Ringstad keeps, backhands it, keeps it moving. Riggio tried to feed Evangelista, but it's cleared out. Not many grade A chances on this power play. They've done better on the little things that they weren't doing well on the earlier power plays, but they haven't been able to get those grade A chances.
Yeah, I mean, that's just really, when it comes down to it, it's just been strong defense from Alabama. And there have been times where they've squandered opportunities, but you just got to get the Frozen Tide their props.
Oh, what a chance here! Oh! Score! Will Pyatt off the feed in the slot from Cole Ringstad, and we're tied at 3 just as the power play was about to expire.
Oh, and what a play right there. That was just a hustle play off the deflection to knock it in there. Oh, you love to see those kind of plays.
Ringstad went coast to coast on the breakout, taking it all the way. A stick check made a loose puck available for Pyatt, and he knocks it home. We're tied at 3.
And that's all you need. You just need a couple plays to go your way, and you get right back into this one. This was 1-3, looking like it would be lost, and now here we are tied up.
The goal at 3:46 left in the second period. And now the Panthers with offensive zone possession. See if they can maybe get one more before the period ends. Panthers are doing their best work here in the second. Clark drags a loose puck out from under Tim Pearl. Clark a shot, deflected in front. Loose puck comes back to Clark. He couldn't drag it free though. And now Votts gets it to Fortunato. He'll carry in. Fortunato around Vitka behind the net. Bodies collide behind Podolski. Sent out to the blue line for Tebby. Behind the net, Vitka looking to make a hit there as well. Clark seals the wall. Gorski trying to feed Pearl. Arm is up for icing. Pearl got to get on his horse, cannot. And it is icing against the Panthers with 2:54 left in the second.
So this is going to bring you back to where some of your prior demons, some of your past demons here on a face-off in your defensive zone. Can you get this win here and maybe move the puck up the ice and continue the momentum that you have? You have 2 unanswered goals, and you can tell that the Alabama sideline a little bit demoralized, obviously, with this swing here. So can you build on that?
This is very similar to the game that we watched earlier this afternoon between the D2 Panthers and Elon, a game that the D2 Panthers went into thinking, yo, we're probably going to blow this team out of the water. Into the second, you're tied at 4. The D2 Panthers did come out to win that one, but this is a very similar situation where you have one team ranked way higher than the other, and the Panthers are catching the Frozen Tide off guard here a little bit in Pelham. Here's a chance now. Podolsky, a safe rebound, and they score. Wow, what an individual effort on the rush by Reese Galota, his second goal, and the 1-goal lead for the Frozen Tide is right back.
And that's just a really impressive play right there. Fast break. And, I mean, not much more you can do there. Just a really good offensive play. And now if you're High Point, you just got to get back up there and try to score another goal because you're down again. And that's got to be a little bit hurtful, especially with what the offense was able to just do. But now you just got to go out there and just do it again.
And I believe there's a penalty up on the board. It's assessed on the clock. It says it's to Davis Turner for 2 minutes. I'm not sure what for, but High Point's going to be shorthanded. A chance for Alabama on the power play. They're 0 for 1, but this is a great opportunity. Here's a chance in. Podolsky sticks it aside. A big penalty kill for the Panthers as this period comes to a close. Votts takes a shot through traffic. It's blocked. Nearly cleared down. Ooh, a great deke there by Fallon. Fallon creates a chance shorthanded, but a good rush there. Ian Brown bats it down. Fallon's offside. So Fallon has to touch up. 1:35 left in the power play. 2:15 in the period. I don't know what that penalty was for. I didn't see anything. And now the Frozen Tide set up in the O-zone on the power play. Oh, a bite there on a stick check. There's a shot blocked by Alex Brown and a great clear by Cole Ringstad. Good stick check there by Schliebner, as Fallon clears the zone. Out of his crease to play at Terranova.
Both of these teams have really struggled here when they've had opportunities in these power plays. Now their team has really produced on these. And if you think about it, if either of these teams hit on these, how much of a different game this could be right now.
Yep, High Point 1 for 4 on the power play. So far, Alabama 0 for 1. High Point's done a very good job of staying out of the box to this point.
A lot of points left on the table, though.
Yep, for sure. But then again, you are playing with a bunch of new line mates, a new look power play potentially. One-timer, oh, what a save, Podolsky! He got over to the far post and made a pad save.
They keep trying to go back to that underneath behind the goal nonsense, and Zach Podolsky's having absolutely none of that today.
This is another penalty coming up to the Panthers. Terranova to the bench, extra attacker out. 6 on 4 right now. Rudick off the glass. High Point's got to touch up, and they do. It's a cross check on Cole Ringstad, and that one hurts. That's a big body on your penalty kill that you're losing here. 14 seconds left on the penalty to Turner. And so Ringstad will go to the box too with 55 seconds left in the second period.
So 14 seconds of being down 2 guys, and then you're going to be down 1 more, obviously, with the new penalty. And that's just not what you want to see at this point, because you've done a really good job up to this point of staying out of the penalty box and just staying composed, and you just don't want to lose that.
Galota off the face-off win, sends it to Rudick. Rudick, a shot tipped in front. Podolsky makes the save and holds on to it. 6 seconds left until Turner's out of the box. It'll be very interesting, in my opinion, to see if Turner goes into the play to join the penalty kill or if he goes to the bench to get another body out. A different body, I should say. Face-off win for the Frozen Tide. 5 seconds left in Turner's penalty. Cross-ice pass. Here's Galota. His shot blocker save. Rebound came free, and it's still loose in the slot. He does go to the bench. Grady Murphy has got a chance shorthanded, but he gets there just seconds after Terranova. That puck hits the netting, so a shorthanded draw in the offensive zone for the Panthers.
And that was a really good job right there from Grady Murphy, the hustle. Even though he didn't end up getting the puck, didn't end up getting the opportunity that he originally would have wanted, which would, to get a one-on-one with the goalie, he was able to force turnover to come out to the point where he was flustered and took a bad shot.
Turns
and
it over, yep.
Yeah.
And that it all goes back to, does Davis Turner join the play or go to the bench? If he joins the play, he's going the opposite direction. He's not going to catch up to that puck with his momentum going towards the defensive zone. But going to the bench, it allowed Murphy, who's a little bit faster than Turner, to make that play. "20 seconds left in the period. Panthers still shorthanded, will be for the remainder of the period unless Alabama scores on the power play. Votts, 12 seconds left. Up top, there's a shot through traffic, blocked in front. Rebound came free. Podolski diving out of position. Doesn't make a save, but it doesn't get on goal either. 5 seconds left. Sent to the far corner, 2 seconds and 1, and that'll do it for the second. High Point scores 2 unanswered at the start of the period to tie the game at 3, but then another late goal, the second of the night by Reese Galota, makes it 4-3, Frozen Tide as we go to the third. The goals in the second period, Grady Murphy's second of the game, Will Pyatt's first on the power play from Cole Ringstad's first point with the D3 Panthers, and then Galota to make it 4-3. That'll do it for the second. 1 minute and 5 seconds left in the penalty to Cole Ringstad when we come back for the start of the third. 40 minutes down, 20 to go here in the Pelham Civic Center. And it is a 4-3 lead. The number 11 Frozen Tide of Alabama are up just one on the Panthers of High Point University, heading into the third period with a minute and 5 seconds of a big penalty to kill off as we start the third period. I'm Graham Tuck with Luke Lee, and Luke, High Point dominated that second period, but one goal in the final 2 minutes and 42 seconds for Alabama regained the lead for them. High Point clawed their way all the way back into this game in the second period. Now they've got to kill off 65 seconds of this penalty to Cole Ringstad before they can really start getting into their game to start this third.
And you said it best. They clawed their way back into this one. They've shown a lot of mental toughness. Obviously, Alabama had that really strong run at the end of the first period, but they were almost stifled outside of one goal. And yeah, huge opportunity for Alabama, but huge opportunity for High Point to show off how much they've grown.
Shots on goal, 45-32, Alabama at the end of the second period. Zach Podolsky has been unreal in the net for the Panthers with 41 saves in the first two periods alone. We're underway here in the third. High Point brings it into the offensive zone after a brief possession for the Frozen Tide. And Alabama will start the breakout. 37 seconds left on the power play. Votts carries it into the zone, stops at the blue line, sends it up top to Owen. Down low, shot from a sharp angle. Net move just a little bit, but Podolsky repositions it. Federiv off the wall to Sanderson, and he clears. Fallon charging in on the backhand, leaves it for Sanderson. His shot blocked in front. Short-handed chance there for the Panthers. 13 seconds left in the penalty kill. Sanderson lets his man by. Owen cutting in, gets by Federiv. Vitka, a good stick check on the backhand. Geiselhardt, a good stick check there. And there is an injured Frozen Tide player down behind the net, and he crashed into the boards hard, holding his shoulder. He is not doing too well behind the net of Zach Podolsky. I can't see a number, but it was bad enough that they stopped the play.
And he is banging his
He took his helmet off himself, man. He has taken off one of his gloves.
That's John Owen, number 27, the forward. He's able to skate off. So that's good to see. Not too hard on the play, but
and he's skating to the bench too. The trainer never even got to him. So we'll see if we'll keep an eye on that. See when he returns to the ice. Owen is a guy that had 20 points on the season, averaging 2 points per game. 6 points since that opening weekend, but still. That being said, High Point did kill off the penalty completely with that whistle. The clock stopped at 18:54, so just 1 second passed, and Cole Ringstad's out of the box.
Not only did they kill it, they demolished it. Alabama could barely even get off a shot. They had one little side shot that was easily saved by Podolsky. So outside of that, I mean, High Point was possessing the puck on offense during that penalty.
They've got a fire lit underneath them for sure, it seems like.
Looks like Coach said something during that intermission to really fire these boys up.
And keep in mind, this is a team that is without their head coach, Elson Eckler, and not with the team this weekend due to an illness. So the only coach on the bench for High Point is assistant coach John Van Kemp. So he is the sole contributor on the bench this weekend. There's a chance sent on goal by Evangelista. To the wall. Turner hits the deck. And out comes McGarry for the Frozen Tide. McGarry, a wrister, shoulder save Podolsky. Loose behind the net. Podolsky's got to get back to the post. And he does. Ripley carries it to the corner. Plamondon cycles it around. Murphy in his feet. Leaves it for Ripley off the wall looking for Riggio, who reels it in. Riggio up the wall left side. Carries it into the zone. Riggio dragging to the slot. Riggio gets a shot off. And it's saved by Terranova. What a move by Riggio to get to the low slot.
And that was a really good job right there to be able to move the puck up the ice and just hustle down there. Obviously didn't end up the way they wanted it to, but that's just a really good play. And it's going to set you up with an O-zone faceoff, which that's a lot better than setting up a D-zone faceoff. They've struggled with the faceoffs in general, but to have one in your offensive zone is obviously more significant than your defensive.
Offensive zone faceoff win, but it's quickly turned over by the Panthers. There's a shot. Rebound came to Pearl, and he had it knocked away from him. A great chance there created by Clark. Slap shot there by Ringstad. Leaves the zone. Schliebner could not collect it. Panthers touch up and start the forecheck. Pearl deflects it with a stick. It floats its way to Ringstad. He has an assist in his debut with the D3 team on the most recent goal by Will Pyatt on the power play. Off the wall, Ringstad getting back into the play. He's got to get back. Geiselhart sends it to the blue line, and it floats over a stick and out. Only a couple minutes gone here in the third period. Really tight game from the opening faceoff. Remember, High Point got on the board 25 seconds into the game to take a 1-0 lead, and then just a few moments later, Alabama evened it up. It was 3-1 after the first period. But High Point worked their way back into the game to tie it in the second. And now some back and forth play here. High Point strong on the forecheck. Alabama cannot get it past the red line. Vitka to the red line and in.
Getting some subs in there for High Point.
Oh, here's a chance on the backhand, and it's a save made by Terranova. Ian Brown had a chance. Brown forks it ahead, ends up creating a chance for the Frozen Tide. Podolsky sticks it aside. Vitka to the near corner. Brown fights off a hit, cycles it. Vitka takes it away here. Sends it to the wall. Alex Brown off the wall. He stood up. Tried to spring Fallon. Instead, it's taken back by Brooks. He's pushed off by Vitka, and Ian Brown will take it here. Brown dodges a hit off the wall, turned over. Puck hopped on the defenseman. Brown, it's caught in his equipment. He creates a 2-on-1 with Fallon. Brown up the near side. Brown takes a shot, and it's blocked.
Ian Brown showing off that speed right there. He showed it off earlier.
Great hip check by Nick Fallon. Absolutely textbook, and it breaks up the entry. Federiv, another great hip check. That is as old school as it gets. And it's executed to perfection by the Panthers twice in about 10 seconds. There's a hit onto Riggio at center ice, no call. Plamondon gets away with one. Vitka sends it to the attacking blue line as the Panther forwards change. Marchiota rushing in on a loose puck. He'll have to skate behind the net for it, gets in there. Rudick seals him off though. Here come the Frozen Tide playing with a 1-goal lead. Plamondon in on the backhand, sends a shot off the outside of the net. Bounce comes back to Turner. He rims it to the blue line, no further. There's a shot way wide off the stick of Tebby. Galota turned it over to Sanderson. Vitka shovels it out. Marchiota giving chase here. Defenseman change for the Panthers. In the attacking zone, the forecheck putting in work with the fourth line. Marchiota gets it to Sanderson, his stick tied up. Pyatt kicks it back to Sanderson, sends it to Marchiota. He sends a shot, he scores! Joey Marchiota ties it up, and it's 4-all.
Joe Marchiota, the freshman, what a play right there. Taking a nice shot in there. He was hustling right from the moment he got in there. Forced Alabama to take one in the boards and was able to end up with the puck in his stick. Takes a shot and with the celebration, everything. And this is a guy that we haven't seen too much from recently. He had that hat trick back against the Citadel earlier in the season, but since then had an injury and haven't seen too much.
Yep, he got really hot at the start of the season, had 2 goals and 2 assists in 4 games, and then had an injury in the game against Elon. Went down, wasn't the same player when he came back, and that is a huge point for him. We're all evened up. 14 minutes left to go, third period. This one's going to come down to the wire. Big save, Podolsky, and the rebound is cleared by Ringstad. Riggio pinned to the boards. Sanderson and Pyatt the assists on that Marchiota goal. There's a shot from the blue line, deflected, and Podolsky lucky that one didn't go on goal. Centering pass, centered by Matz. One-timer, Podolsky made a stick save, and he seals the post. What a sequence for Zach Podolsky, saving the game with that one.
Oh my goodness, Zach Podolsky. He's been moving all over today, but that one, oh wow, it was like he was spinning. One place to another. It's a really good job. Net gets knocked out on the way, stops the play, but even then, Zach Podolsky had that handle, did not need any help whatsoever, and he has just been putting on a clinic today, even with the 4 goals. With how many shots that Alabama's taken, 50 total, and with the shooters that they have, he has been impressive today.
Those his best 2 saves of the game, not even close. And that he's on our end of the ice now, so that was right in front of us. We got to fully appreciate how great that sequence was. Evangelista, a turnover in the D zone. McGarry, a saucer pass, and Podolsky a save on a shot that he didn't see where it was. At the blue line, a shot blocked by Evangelista. I had to keep my eye on that one. I thought that might have been coming for us. It's up into the ceiling and out of play. So a D zone draw, and luckily for High Point, they'll get the change. All 5 guys will come off.
They got lucky there. We got lucky there. That would have been bad.
Sticks canceled and a puck up into the ceiling. Low netting here in the Pelham Civic Center, so could have been dangerous. Shot by the Frozen Tide, goes wide of the mark. Vitka on the backhand, cycled for Fedorov, who wasn't on the same page. Galota with it now, so dangerous this top line. Galota drags it to the top of the slot. Galota walking in, and his shot blocked by the stick of Clark. Into the netting, out of play. 13-11 left, third period.
And we've given Zach Podolsky a lot of credit, and that for sure, 100% deserves all the credit in the world. But the defense has had some really strong reps, and right there, that was a really good example. Had a guy moving in and out, and they were able to just stay in front of him, don't let him get behind you, and just some strong defense.
It can be really easy to get lulled to sleep when a guy just walks around the zone like that.
Especially just a guy so shifty.
Yep. Vitka picks it up behind Podolsky's net. Nice little move around McGarry, gets it to Fedorov. Clamenden walks to the slot after a turnover. Pearl stick tied up, shot, they score! Kellen McGarry gets the lead back for the Frozen Tide, and it's 5-4.
And we've had a shootout here all game, and it does not change here. That's just a really nice shot. It was up on that left-hand side, and I mean, if you have a little bit of a room with shooters like that, you're going to make a few. Zach Podolsky just a little bit too slow on that one, but he has been fantastic for the majority of this game. Huge goal, though, for Alabama to give them a 1-point lead. Less than 13 minutes left.
Just sneaks under the blocker, short side, and the 1-goal lead is back, but this game far from over. 12:40 left for High Point to tie this one up and potentially take a lead. Ian Brown with a good play. Turner gets it back in the D zone and sends it into the High Point bench. He was trying to get it off the wall for Cam Sanderson, and instead it'll be picked back up in the neutral zone. Bit of a line shakeup here. Sanderson is now centering Alex Brown and Ian Brown rather than Nick Fallon. Actually, this draw will come to the defensive zone. I apologize.
And for High Point, this is where you really need to dig deep, and just this is where you find out who you are as a team in these kind of situations where you're tired and you're battered.
Walking in with it, Geiselhart. He's sealed off by Sanderson. Turner joins the scrum in the corner. Ian Brown giving chase on to Votz, still behind the net of Podolsky. Votz backhanded chance. Ian Brown digs it out. Votz gets it back to the blue line where it's backhanded into the netting, out of play by the defenseman Mayer. That one was literally coming right for my face if that doesn't hit the netting and go out.
Shows you why the netting's important.
Oh, thank God.
And Ian Brown, he said some really nice plays in transition, had a really nice defensive play there, but some really nice plays in transition, moving with his top-end speed. Couldn't really get moving there, but a good defensive play.
So another look here. So Nick Fallon has moved back to defense. He's out there with Cole Ringstad. Gorski now centering Pyatt and Marchiota. Puck fought for in the neutral zone. Pyatt touches up as the Frozen Tide had it in their D zone momentarily. Sticks cancel at the red line. Pyatt moves in to take the stick away, and now it's shoveled into the offensive zone just briefly. Fallon and Ringstad play catch in the D zone. Ringstad clears it out. Pyatt at the defensive blue line sends it across to a streaking Gorski into the zone on the backhand, and he'll backhand it on to Terranova, who covers for an O-zone draw with 35 left to go, third period.
And just like for most of this game, it's been either on the offensive side or defensive zone for High Point, and this is another opportunity in the offensive zone. You've done quite a bit today on offense. You've been outshot by 14, only down by 1 though, so shows you're really just one shot away.
In the corner, Ringstad pinching in. He'll send it on net. Marchiota not there for the backdoor tap in. There was space. Terranova had vacated. Fallon plays it to the ice in the neutral zone, tried to slap it into the zone. Marchiota digs it out here. He has the most recent goal for High Point. Panthers are offside. They've got to touch up. Fallon backhanded to Ringstad. His pass intercepted, and that one's into the netting, out of play from the blue line. Sent out of play by the Frozen Tide. We'll see where this faceoff comes to. Riggio, Evangelista, and Murphy going out now. Schliebner and Fedorov, the new pairing. So the D pairs have shuffled a little bit with Fallon playing back here in the third period.
I haven't seen a whole lot of neutrals on faceoffs.
There was one there, and it's brought in here by Motherwell. First time we've called his name for the Frozen Tide. Murphy has a Riggio in front of everybody. Riggio will watch Murphy carry it into the corner. Chip and chase behind the net. McGarry takes it out, cuts up the center of the ice, right down the middle. McGarry across both blues and the red. McGarry dragging to the slot, finally bodied off by Schliebner. Schliebner and McGarry go at it. Plamondon bodied off by Murphy. Fedorov throws a big hit onto Geiselhart. Riggio leaves it for Schliebner, who carries it to the red. Schliebner all the way into the zone. Schliebner to the corner, rims it around. Fedorov going off for a change. Vitka's on now. Schliebner's rim attempt, nobody there on the back end with Fedorov going to change, and it's picked up by the Frozen Tide and sent on goal. Podolsky keeps it moving. Vitka with 10 left in the third. Vitka, he's tied up here. No call. That looked like an obvious trip. And here come the Frozen Tide. A shot over the crossbar. I'm really shocked there was no call there on the hit to Vitka, or the trip, I should say.
And it's been a chippy game, so sometimes the refs will let those kind of calls slide. They're not too egregious.
A whistle here as Evangelista trying to take it into the zone. He was offside. 9:45 left to go, third period. A couple new bodies onto the ice for the Panthers.
And I know we've already mentioned it a couple times, but the added bodies on this roster and just having more depth is huge for High Point.
Clark wins the faceoff in the neutral zone, but it's very quickly sent into the Alabama bench. So we'll do it all over again. Faceoff coming right in front of the Frozen Tide bench. Actually, this one will come to center ice now. Clark set to take it again. Sanderson on his left, Pearl on his right. Ripley and Vitka, the defenseman, behind him. Clark sends it on goal from the neutral zone, and it forces a face-off as Terra Nova has to cover. Sanderson and Pearl were in on the forecheck, so a great play there by Clark. Good awareness to fire it in from the red line.
And another opportunity for High Point to get something going here on this offensive faceoff. That's where they've really struggled. That's been the difference in this game, is they have not been able to win the faceoffs, no matter where they've been.
Clark wins this one, but quickly turned over. Here's another turnover. Sanderson, a shot on net, and it's saved by Terra Nova. That one's through the crease. Nobody on the back door to pick it up. Ripley settles it at the blue line. Backhanded down low, looking for Pearl with Sanderson. Instead, it's sent to a streaking. Here comes Warner all the way in, fights off a couple body checks. Stick save, Podolsky, and he's injured. At least it looks like it. He extended his pad to make the save. It's a hook. So High Point goes to the box, but it saves a goal, and the big concern here is Zach Podolsky okay? He really extended trying to make that save.
He's able to get up with the help of his teammates, so hopefully it's nothing too serious. Hopefully at least he can finish out this one, because he has been essential to High Point's surprise performance today. They've really gone out here and shocked a lot of these people out here.
Surprise to the crowd, but not to the players on the ice.
They're confident in themselves, you can tell.
So it's Vitka, 2 for hooking, and this is a huge kill and a huge power play for the Frozen Tide. Ringstad getting in there to block a shot. This shot sent wide. Fortunato picks it up near corner. Takes it to the wall. Pyatt, Fallon, Gorski, and Ringstad are the shorthanded unit. Here comes Fallon into the zone shorthanded. Fallon, a shot! And it's saved by Terra Nova, and a face-off in the O-zone coming up. 8:35 left, 29 seconds gone on the penalty kill.
Obviously, a goal is best case scenario. I mean, that is as good as it can get without scoring, because it stops the clock, gives you a little bit of a chance to regroup, and then it gives you an offensive face-off deep in the Alabama D-zone.
There's another shot shorthanded, this one from Jonathan Gorski, and Terra Nova keeps it moving. Thought he was going to hold on. But here comes the power play for the Frozen Tide. John Owen sends it in. Off the wall to the back of the net. Ringstad couldn't rim it out. Fallon gets it to Gorski, who can't clear. On the wall, taken out here by Votts. And a save Podolski, he'll hold on. Fallon and Warner going at it here. Fallon trying to clear everyone away from Puddles.
These guys have been going at it all night, and it has been physical from the start.
And we'll be back for another game tomorrow, so you can only imagine how physical that one will be. 2 p.m. puck drop for that one. Ian Brown, Cam Sanderson, Dorian Fedoriv, and Tanner Ripley, the penalty killers here. Cross-ice pass, shot blocked there by the shin of Fedoriv. Another shot blocked there from Ripley, and Ian Brown clears it all the way down. Great penalty killing there. 2 blocks in a matter of seconds for the Panthers.
And Alabama's just holding the puck down there. I mean, that's just wasting time for them with the power play.
7:40 left to go in the third period. The Frozen Tide have a 1-goal lead. Geiselhart can't get by Ian Brown in the corner. Fedoriv sends him away. Ripley and Warner going at it here. I believe this is going to be a penalty on the Frozen Tide. Warner gets caught for a cross-check, and I see Ripley and I point at each other. He drew that one and did a great job to make sure that he didn't get called for the retaliation. He's smiling all the way back to the bench. He just completely killed off the rest of that penalty and got his team a power play.
And that's what you like to see here. Smart plays here by this High Point team. They know they are just a few plays away from once just tying this game up and then taking it over. They know they're in a really good position, so that's just a really smart play right there to try to clarify that.
So 20 seconds left. It'll be 4-on-4 for 20 seconds, then 1:40 of a power play for the Panthers to try to tie it. Ringstad to the corner, has McGarry on him, cycles it for Riggio. Murphy and Fallon, the other two on the ice. Ringstad sends it to Fallon, and he fanned on the one-timer. He was wide open on the back post. 3 seconds, 2-1. Vitka out of the box. Here comes a power play for the Panthers. Between the legs move there by Galota, but he can't get by Ringstad. Not completely, at least. Riggio picks it up, leaves for Ringstad, sends it back to Riggio. 1:28 on the power play. Huge juncture here in this game. Riggio, a couple of great moves to get into the offensive corner on the far side. Fallon at the blue line from Riggio. Up top, the quarterback of the power play. Gets it to Murphy. His shot off the post. Ringstad picks up the rebound. Gets it to Fallon. His pass blocked. Fallon gets it over to Murphy. Zone kept along the blue line. Murphy, another shot. Save made. Rebound came out. Backhanded chance. And it's just missed. I thought that was a goal there. And the Panthers are offside. They've got to touch back up. Great looking power play here. But the Frozen Tide penalty killers possess. They'll send it all the way down. And a shorthanded chance here as McGarry unable to beat Podolski to the puck. Murphy off the wall to Riggio, who skates in. Gets it to Ringstad. Ringstad has options. Centers it. Evangelista shot. And it's saved by Terranova off the wall. Here's a 2-on-1 shorthanded for McGarry. He gets in. His pass broken up well by Fallon on the back check. Murphy sends it to the corner. Murphy fights off McGarry. No penalty. McGarry looked like he went up high a minute on Murphy. Fallon to Riggio. Lost it in the wall. Riggio. Not a great pass there. This one's sent on goal. Podolski seals the ice, makes the stick save. Power play expired. Power play now 1 for 5 for the Panthers. 5:15 left to go here. And that shot hits Turner up high. He goes down to the ice. And Murphy gives a little extra shove. Turner's going to go to the bench. He's skating there on his own power. Murphy standing up for his teammate. Puck still in possession of the Frozen Tide in the attacking zone. Hope Davis Turner is okay. We'll check on him momentarily. Big hit there thrown by Ripley. Puck comes to the far wall. Centered up, nearly intercepted by Votts. Instead, Murphy, diving pass, gets it to Pearl. What a play by Pearl to create a chance. He sends a shot on goal, and a face-off coming as Terranova holds on.
And I mean, that was a really good adjustment right there by Pearl, but Grady Murphy sliding out there, putting his whole body on the line, going down and making – that was a really good pass for considering he was going down as he was making that.
And it was just
impressive.
enough on target, yep.
Yeah, it was right there. I mean, he had to make the adjustment, but still, I mean, you would thought that would have been offline.
The Frozen Tide have had 4 chances on the power play, haven't scored on any. The Panthers have had 5, and they've scored on 1. There's a deflection out in front by Alex Brown, and it's on goal. Save made by Terranova. This is a rush the other way, but a great back check by Ian Brown prevents a shot on goal for Owen. Galota behind the net. Podolski out in front makes a save, and the crease cleared by Vitka. 4 minutes and 19 seconds left in the third. 1-goal lead still for the Frozen Tide. Vitka loses it here. Schliebner in the defensive zone. Ian Brown plays it down to the ice. Brown circles around, loses it here to Plamondon. Galota lost it. Brown feeds Sanderson. He's across the red line. Fires it in. Behind the net of Terranova. Pyatt onto the ice here. 3:45 left. There's a shot from the blue line, and Podolski will hold on. D-zone draw coming up. Allows the rest of his teammates to change. This one's really coming down to the wire, Luke.
And for all the goals that have been scored here, 9 total, and for all the shots that have been taken, well over 100, 108 total, actually. It's actually been a goalie duel. You wouldn't think so, but it really has been because most of these goalies have been fantastic outside of a few shots.
This is, I think it's safe to say, this is the best that I've ever seen Zach Podolski play, and he had a shutout earlier in the year. This is by far his best game, in my opinion.
And going up against a really top Alabama competition.
Yep. Some elite level saves here. Fallon around the inboards to Ringstad in the D zone. Ringstad turns it over, but a good stick gets it right back. Ringstad on the backhand finds Fallon. Across the red and the blue. Fallon pushed off the puck. Fallon cycles it deep. Pyatt in the corner. Pyatt falls to the ice. This one's sent out. Fallon gets it in the neutral zone. Has to reset. Clark, Pyatt, and Marchiota, the forwards. Fallon and Ringstad, the defensemen. 2:55 left. Fallon finds Clark. Clark ahead to Marchiota. Just out of his reach. No icing here into the zone. Votts picks it up in the near corner. Ringstad pinching into the far corner. He's shoved in the boards cleanly. Ringstad takes it away, though. Ringstad sends it behind the net for Pyatt. Evangelista onto the ice here. This one sent deep, and with speed, here comes McGarry. Dangerous player. McGarry, a shot patted aside by Podolski. Evangelista takes it away after a stick lift from Riggio. 2:20 left. Podolski looking to the bench. There's a shot wide of the mark. It goes out of play, and an ozone draw coming up for the Panthers. Will Coach John Van Kemp use his timeout? Doesn't look like it'll be here. 2:17 left, 5-4 game. The Panthers need one more goal to force extra hockey.
And 2:17 might not seem a lot, but that's actually a lot if you've watched how these points have been scored. They've been scored quickly.
Riggio in a scrum forward in the corner. Evangelista draws in. Trying to make a play here. It's sent to the blue line. Fedorov knocks it down to the ice. Here comes Galota into the attacking zone on the forehand. There's a good block there by Ripley. Ripley takes it away here. Ripley on the backhand feeds Murphy. Murphy sends a shot, and it's saved by Terranova. Podolski to the bench with 1:46 to go. So here comes the extra attacker. Empty net for the Panthers.
And it's an interesting strategy, obviously. You're taking your goalie out there because if they get that puck down to your side of the ice, then I mean it's unless you have some sort of outstanding defensive play, it could be over.
So we've talked about it all night. JVK, John Van Kemp, takes his time out here, and an offensive zone draw is going to decide who gets the possession here with Zach Podolski to the bench for the extra attacker. High Point has played a complete game tonight. They have played out of their minds from the opening faceoff. Grady Murphy scoring 25 seconds into the game to take an early lead, but unfortunately it was short-lived, and that's the only lead the Panthers have had tonight. They've tied it up twice at 3-3 and 4-4. But the most recent goal from Kellen McGarry, the star of this Frozen Tide team, has put the Frozen Tide back in front, and High Point has got to dig deep to tie this one up.
And this is where you're really going to be tested. This is where you find out not only who you are as a team, who you are as a person, because this is hard. And no one's saying it's not. You're going up against a team that's ranked at number 11 in the country that has been straight up dominating teams for most of their schedule. So this is a position Alabama probably hasn't been in very much. So it's going to test both of these teams mentally, obviously physically as well. But High Point here, huge opportunity. You got an extra man out there. Got to make sure whatever you do, you keep possession of that puck and you keep ripping it. Because all it takes is one. That's what we've learned from this game. All it takes is one.
So from the timeout, the 6 on the ice for High Point: Ripley, Riggio, Nick Fallon, Ringstad, Gorski, and Murphy. See if there's something on the face-off. It's coming to the blocker side of Terranova, a right-handed catching goalie. You don't see that often. And Murphy won the draw, but the Panthers can't keep the zone. It's fired down, and they miss the empty net. Fallon gets to it first, and it's icing. That one just barely missed the empty net from the defensive blue line.
And that was really lucky. It really is a game of inches, because if that was a little bit more inside and it didn't go outside, then obviously, I mean, that's an extra goal right there, and that's pretty much it. So High Point catching their breath here, but they gotta understand, you can't let that happen. That's the one thing you cannot let happen in this situation.
This one fired down. Fallon on his horse to try to beat out the icing. He cannot, but he does make a block, and he charges hard into the boards, and immediately it's blown dead. Fallon charges face first into the boards, trying to break up the play, and Ringstad gets into it with York after the play. Sticks go flying. York and Ringstad are both going to be done for the game. Wow, that was a brutal look there for Nick Fallon. I hope he's okay. He's up and skating under his own power here, but he skated face first at full speed into the inboards.
Oh, it's been one of those games. It's been one of those games. Multiple players have been ejected, 2 for Alabama. Obviously, Cole Ringstad for High Point here. But it's just been all over from the start of this game. From the first whistle, these teams have been hitting each other. And obviously, hockey is a physical game, but this one has been extra physical today.
You got to applaud the officiating there. You immediately blow the play dead with a live puck in the attacking zone with an empty net out of concern for the safety of Nick Fallon. And even better officiating to make sure that Ringstad and York are both tossed out of the game to make sure that nothing else choppy happens here in the final minute and 26 seconds.
And right you are, Graham. That is very much player safety is the number one concern here. It's got to be. And just really hoping that all the players who've been hurt today and all the guys who've gotten into it can just bounce back and we can have a nice game tomorrow.
So it's a 2 and a 10 to both Ringstad and York. I believe Alabama's going to call their timeout here. The faceoff is coming in the High Point defensive zone, so it forces Podolski back into the crease. Fallon, Gorski, Riggio, and Murphy, the 4 on the ice before the timeout by Alabama. Minute 26 left in the third. And this one, obviously, regardless of the end result, High Point is going back to the hotel. Very happy about the way they played tonight.
I mean, yeah, you gotta be. And I think what makes me feel even better if I was High Point was a lot of the production you've gotten tonight has been guys who are already here. It wasn't any of the new additions. Obviously, right. Cole Ringstad was a big one, and you've had some other guys come in and contribute. But, I mean, Grady Murphy's been here. 2 goals right there. Marchiotta's been here. Obviously,
Will Pyatt's
was
been
hurt.
here.
Exactly. These guys have been here. They're just marinating. And, I mean, they picked basically the most important game with the highest level of competition to come out and have a breakout party, man.
Absolutely.
Love to see it.
Absolutely. And there's still time left to tie this game up, that's for sure. But you got to get the puck out of your defensive zone here after this timeout.
And that's been an issue for both teams, is when it's been in their defensive zone, they haven't done a very good job of moving it up. Obviously, once it happens, then usually they keep it for a little bit. But if you're High Point, you got to make a quick stop and get that puck back and try to move something.
Murphy set to take the face-off to the glove side of Podolski. He's got to win it against the captain, Brendan Votts. And he does. Fallon rims it around, but charging in to break up the play there is Geiselhart. Murphy will take it here behind Podolski's net, rims it around. Fallon not looking for it. Riggio will get there first. 1:12 left. Clock ticking on the Panthers game here. Riggio using the net as a screen, carries it out of the defensive zone. Podolski skating to the bench. Zone kept by Gorski. Under a minute to play. Empty net here. This one's fired down. Deflected, not quite on goal, but no icing. Murphy's got to take it here behind the net. 50 seconds left. Murphy to Ripley. Ripley skates across the blue line and in. On the backhand to the corner. Backhands it on net. There's a stick save. Behind the net, still loose. All bodies except for Murphy behind the net. And finally a whistle blown here. It looked like a body hit the deck behind the net of Terra Nova. 32.4 left on the clock here. High Point still down by 1. Extra attacker is out. It's 5-on-4. And so it was 4-on-4 before the empty net. So 5-on-4 with an empty net. Murphy set to take the face off. Cannot win it. Skated out. And an offer at the empty net. Actually, it's a cross-ice pass, and this time it will be converted upon. The hat trick for Reese Galota on the empty netter, and it is 6-4 Alabama.
And that's just part of the risk that comes with leaving your goalie out of the game and leaving an empty net. I mean, it just happens. Unfortunately, you want that advantage, but when things don't go your way, the puck doesn't bounce your way, I mean, it leaves you susceptible to plays like that. This is a hard-fought one, though, through and through, and if you're High Point, you got to feel really good about yourselves because I don't think anyone's giving you a chance except for those guys in that locker room. So it tells you a lot about who they are.
Yeah, absolutely. They fought all the way to the end, and they're really going to have another chance to come out and get the win this time tomorrow when these two teams play again here at the Pelham Civic Center.
In this heartbreaking loss, this is what's got to fuel them to come back in here tomorrow and try to beat them this time.
So you got to wonder what will be the goaltending play tomorrow for High Point. With all of the shots that Zach Podolski saw, 59 shots before being pulled for the empty net, and the game being at 2 p.m. Central Time tomorrow, will Podolski be able to make that second start, or will Coach Van Kemp turn to Steven DiFilippo or Alex Connors? That's a decision that has to be made between tonight and tomorrow morning.
And we'll see. It will definitely play a big outcome in tomorrow's because Podolski, he's a steady guy. He's your number one. He's the one out there.
He's got to be tired, though.
100%. He's gone through a lot tonight. You could tell he might have even hurt himself a little bit earlier. So it's definitely be a toss-up.
And so that will do it as the clock runs out on the Panthers' upset bid, but it was a valiant one. They jumped out to an early 1-0 lead just 25 seconds in, but they cannot complete the comeback. After tying it up twice, they couldn't get the lead back. And the final score here from the Pelham Civic Center, 6-4, the Frozen Tide, the victors. A great game all the way around, and a pleasure to call it with you, Luke. Any final thoughts here before we sign off?
All I can say is that it was a great game from High Point, great game from both teams to really come out here, just play some physical hockey, and both these teams were even. It was just very entertaining to call, and couldn't imagine anything else to do on my Saturday night.
Absolutely. So as Saturday night turns into Sunday morning, just a reminder, we will be right back here at the Pelham Civic Center on the High Point Hockey YouTube channel, hopefully with video feed tomorrow. TBD on that. Sorry about the radio today, but hope you enjoyed it. Nonetheless, final score 6-4. The Frozen Tide, the victors. Grady Murphy, Will Pyatt, and Joey Marchiota, the goal scorers for the Panthers. And they will be right back with Game 2 and a chance at revenge tomorrow at 2 p.m. Central Time. Thanks for listening.